Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Atlassian Community Roundup for the month of March. It is crazy to think that the first quarter of the year has already gone by, but we have so much great content for you, so without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, we're going to kick things off with our announcements and highlights, and first up, while the voting has ended for the Community Choice Award for the Team Awards, there are a number of really good use cases that are outlined in the two articles that are linked to this. So I highly recommend you go and check them out. You can see some really amazing things about how various companies are using the Atlassian products to empower their teams. And be sure to tune in to Team 24, where they will announce the Community Choice winner. Next up, bite-sized learning has been a thing. I think I've featured it at least once on here before. This month, we're talking about Atlassian Intelligence. It's the big thing right now, and if you haven't started using it, there's no better time than the present to turn it on and try it out. And to get things kicked off, there is actually a bite-sized learning here that you can earn a Community Kudos badge for, so why not give it a try? And speaking of Atlassian Intelligence, this is a great article that talks about how you can use Atlassian Intelligence to help find issues faster in Jira. I know that JQL is one of the things I get asked for the most from my users, so being able to empower them to find issues a little bit easier on their own is definitely one of those benefits. Next up, there is a new certification out there. The ITSM with Jira Service Management Foundations, I believe it's the ACI 910, is available for you to earn. So if you are interested in an Atlassian Certified Associate exam, go check this out and go consider signing up for it. I do know that with the associate exams, they do have a course that comes with them that should teach you everything you're going to need to know to pass the exam. So that's definitely one worth taking a look at. Now, Peter's been here before using games as a method of team building, and they've all been wonderful articles. There's a lot of learning that comes out of them. This time, they did the Werewolves of Miller Howell. If you haven't ever played Werewolf or something along that lines, it is a great social experiment game that will really teach you a lot about how your teammates interact with one another in a social situation. If you haven't tried it, worth trying it, but also definitely worth reading this article. Next up, Steve's done a great job here of giving you some tips about managing personal spaces in Confluence, showing you how to enable or disable the automatic creation of them, and things that you should keep in mind as far as cleaning them up when people leave, because if you're on a standard plan and you have a limited amount of storage space, this can really be one of those things that will eat it up quickly without you realizing it. Next up, the power of Kaizen. Hinted back, another great article. This was one of those that really made me stop and think, and just reading the article and the tips in here really helped make me feel better when the day was just panicked and busy. So I recommend reading this and then taking some of the tips from here to help you just center yourself and feel more energized when things start to get you down in the day. Next up, we've got some things that are in that borderline between whether they're product updates or announcements, so I've kind of left them to the end and they'll kind of merge in the middle. First up is, if you were on the beta for Compass and you're looking at how to move to the free or standard plans, you're going to want to check this article out. As of this article being posted, this will have already happened, so you'll want to make sure that you know what's going on if you are looking to get onto the appropriate place with Compass. Next, there are changes to the recent subscriber notifications for status page. As of this going out, there are some things that are being done to sort of limit the things that are sent out to recent subscribers. I encourage you to go and check out this FAQ if you use status page and how this might affect the people that are going to be subscribing to your page notifications. Next up, the deprecation of Microsoft's OneDrive for Business. This is the legacy macro in the editor. There is still many abilities to embed OneDrive documents, but this legacy macro is actually being deprecated as of May 30th of this year. And then finally, local agents are being deprecated as of Bamboo 9.6 and going forward. So if you have used Bamboo Server or now Data Center, and the server has always allowed you to have agents running under its JVM, that is no longer possible. To provide a better performance on a data center platform, you will need to actually have all agents on separate machines outside of the server's instance. Those local agents are no longer going to be something that you can use as of 9.6. So if you have been relying on local agents, you're going to want to come up with a plan of how you're going to move them to their own instance setups. And that's all we've got for announcements and highlights. Okay, moving right along into our new features and our product updates. First up, there have been some changes and updates to the way collaborators work on Trello workspaces. If you are not aware of what those changes are, go check out this article. It's got links to other documents that Trello has put out, a blog post and an FAQ supporting it. And this will identify what is changing and the timeframes at when those changes are happening. So it looks as though this is just a thing that is going to happen. So you might as well read the information and be prepared for the changes that are coming soon. Next up, I felt it was worth giving some love to the data center platform. This is a great aggregate article that talks about all the new platform changes that are coming. It looks as though there is a new platform release that will have some breaking changes that are going out across the board. So you'll want to read this, understand exactly what's happening, so that you can be prepared for the upgrade that you're going to eventually need to do in the future. Moving on, Bitbucket Cloud is now implementing a 100 meg limit on files that are included in a Git push. You can still use the large file system storage for large files that will exist outside of the repository themselves. But as far as things that are tracking changes, they are going to be limited down to 100 megs per file going forward. So if that's something that you are currently going to run into as an issue, I'd recommend going through, reading all the details on this, and figuring out what you need to do to try and break some of those larger files apart if you have to continue to use them the way that you need to. Next up, for Jira Service Management, they are now introducing a new setup called deployment gating, which will allow you to basically have some approval processes in place while deployments are being deployment processes are moving through the pipeline. If this is something that has piqued your interest, again, go check it out and see if it's something that you might be interested in enabling. Next up, there were some notification setting changes that have gone out. This provides more granular control as a user on the notifications that you are going to receive to your email inbox. There are many more settings that you can turn on and off, and you can actually set them up with project-specific configurations, which is great when there are certain projects that you want to see everything, and then other projects you don't really care about much of anything unless someone's mentioned you. So I would encourage you to not just read this article, but go to your user account within your Jira instance and go take a look at your own notification settings and start playing around with the things that you can turn on and turn off to customize what gets sent to you by email. Next up, there is now a new way to insert a list of Jira issues within Jira Work Management. The new /Jira command, very much like a Confluence macro, will allow you to put in some filters, keywords, or JQL, and insert a list or a table of issues directly into either the description field of an issue within Jira Work Management. Next up, Atlas goals have gotten more powerful. There are now some new things that have come to Atlas goals. One of the main things is that there are new templates for making it easier to write them. You can now connect teams directly to your goals, and you can plan ahead by setting a start date for goals now. Next, tracking component health is now a little bit easier in Compass with an expanded history of the scorecard. So now if you have been tracking things over time, you're going to have a little bit more history to work with so that you can track how well the health of a component has been doing. And finally, content nesting enhancements for Confluence Cloud. Now it is much easier within a bulleted list to add things like actions in line within that list. I'm super excited about that because this is one of those things that I have struggled with myself as I work through some meeting agenda notes taking myself. That's all I have for the product updates. I would encourage you to also check out the trending topics that you might want to chime in on, our questions that were left out in the cold. And as a reminder, those are questions that have been sitting around for over a month and no one has bothered to put an answer on them. So please be sure if you can provide an answer, go in there and give it some love. And don't forget our automation corner where you can see some cool things that people are doing either with automation rules themselves, or sometimes it's more developer focused on Atlassian Forge. And that's all there is for the month of March. I hope you have enjoyed going through this, either watching or listening to the video or reading through the article itself, as much as I always enjoy putting it together for you each month. You'll notice that my background is a little bare. I will be moving soon, so as much as I was able to get this video out, I don't know if we'll be able to get some in the future, but I really appreciate you taking the time to read the article and watch the video, and I hope you have a awesome April ahead. I know the end of the month is going to be amazing when Team 24 shows up. So with that, thank you for stopping by.